The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Kievan of Earth stood before the assembled delegates. His human frame seemed small compared to the towering Vraxian war masters and the crystalline Xanathi observers, yet something in his posture commanded attention. The holographic display behind him flickered with images of burning human colonies, and his eyes held a cold fire that made even the most battle-hardened species uncomfortable. "You asked us to surrender," Kievan said, his voice carrying across the vast chamber. "You called us weak, fragile, a species barely worthy of acknowledgement." Counselor Thexamora, the Vraxian Supreme Commander, chittered with amusement. "Human, your protests bore us. Your kind has been given the honor of servitude. 3 of your colony worlds have fallen. Accept your place in the natural order." Kievan smiled, and that smile sent a ripple of unease through the council. "We have a saying on Earth. Don't mistake kindness for weakness." Far across the galaxy, Anna checked her tactical readouts one final time. The former astrophysicist had become something far more dangerous, humanity's first Void Striker commander. Around her flagship, the Defiant Dawn, a fleet of human warships hung in the darkness like predators waiting to strike. They had been dismissed as primitive, their technology laughed at by the older races. That was humanity's first advantage, being underestimated. "All ships report ready, Commander," her XO reported. Anna nodded, her fingers dancing across holographic controls. "Then let's show them what humanity does when you threaten our children." The Vraxian armada had gathered near the Proxima Gate, confident in their superiority. They had crushed dozens of species with the same overwhelming force. Their shields were legendary, their weapons devastating. They had never encountered a species that fought the way humans did. Anna's fleet emerged from slipspace not in formation, but scattered, appearing to be in disarray. The Vraxian commander would later call it chaos. Anna called it creativity. "They're breaking formation," the Vraxian tactical officer reported, confusion evident in his translated speech. "The humans are scattering." What the Vraxians didn't understand was that human warfare had evolved through millennia of fighting each other. They had learned every dirty trick, every asymmetric tactic, every way to turn weakness into strength. Where other species fought with honor and predictable patterns, humans fought to win. Anna's voice cut through the comms. "All wings execute maneuver Alpha Tango 7. Let's introduce them to the concept of guerrilla warfare in space." The human ships weren't scattering, they were swarming. Small, fast attack craft that the Vraxians had dismissed as insignificant suddenly became deadly as they coordinated with inhuman precision. They didn't try to match the enemy's firepower. Instead, they targeted specific systems, sensors, communication arrays. They were turning the Vraxian fleet blind and deaf. Back in the council chamber, emergency alerts began flooding in. Kievan watched the counselor's expressions shift from arrogance to confusion to growing alarm. "Impossible," Thexamora roared. "The human fleet is inferior. Our intelligence showed—" "Your intelligence showed what we wanted you to see," Kievan interrupted calmly. "Did you think we'd show you our actual capabilities? Every species you conquered fought you head-on with honor following your rules. We studied you for years. We learned from your victories, and then we did something you never expected." "What?" the counselor demanded. "We cheated." Anna's fingers flew across her console as the battle unfolded exactly as humanity had planned. The Vraxians were powerful, yes, but they were predictable. They followed doctrines millions of years old. Humanity had barely been in space for 2 centuries, and in that time, they'd fought more wars among themselves than most species fought in millennia. "Deploy the surprise," Anna commanded. Throughout the human fleet, cargo bays opened. What emerged weren't missiles or fighters. They were thousands of small drones, each carrying powerful electromagnetic pulse generators. Independently targeted, they swarmed the Vraxian shields not to penetrate them but to drain them. It was an old Earth tactic, death by 1,000 cuts. The Vraxian shields flickered and failed. Their massive ships, designed to withstand tremendous firepower, suddenly found themselves vulnerable to precisely targeted strikes. Human railguns, dismissed as primitive kinetic weapons, punched through hull plating with devastating accuracy. Kievan continued his address to the now panicking council. "You wanted to know why Earth refused to surrender? Because you made a fundamental error. You assumed we were like the other species you'd conquered, civilized, rational, willing to accept the inevitable." His smile turned predatory. "But humans? We're the species that looked at the hostile death world we evolved on and said, not good enough. We're the species that split the atom and immediately thought of it as a weapon. We're the species that turned space travel into a military endeavor before we'd even left our own solar system. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it ended, the Vraxian armada was in full retreat, leaving behind 3 disabled battle cruisers and countless smaller vessels. Anna's fleet had taken losses, but they had proven something terrifying to the rest of the galaxy. Humanity could fight, and humanity could win. In the council chamber, Kevin delivered humanity's final message. We came to the stars hoping to find friends. You made us find our teeth instead. The attack on our colonies was your first mistake. Thinking we wouldn't retaliate was your second. And believing you could win? He paused. That was your last. As Kevin turned to leave, Counselor Thex Mora called out, desperation creeping into his voice. What do you want, human? Kevin looked back, and Anna's words from the battlefield echoed in his mind. We fight not because we enjoy it, but because we refuse to kneel. We want peace, Kevin said simply. But on our terms. Touch Earth or our colonies again, and next time we won't stop at your fleet. We'll bring the war to every Vraxian world until you remember what it means to fear. That's the thing about humanity. We're absolutely terrifying when you give us a reason to be. The Galaxy Council would never look at Earth the same way again.